Thanks for bearing with us,
Hi.
everyone, and welcome. Today we have Megan with us today. All right, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Make sure you type in chat where you're from, and I will go ahead and turn it over to Megan.
Maddie, thank you so much. Thanks everyone so much for joining us. Sorry, we had a little bit of technical difficulties ahead of this, but we are good to go now. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Megan. I work with Sawgrass, and I'm super excited to be here today. So what we're doing today is we are looking ahead to Valentine's Day, and we are going to be making a fun Valentine's Day pouch using both traditional sublimation and EasySubli Vinyl. I'm going to show you what the project looks like ahead of time, and then I'm going to walk you through the steps on how to make it yourself. So this is the photo that we put online for when you guys signed up for this class. It is a heart monogram pouch using EasySubli Vinyl. The thing I did not, and I'm going to put it over here so you guys can see it close up. So that is what our pouch looks like. What is exciting though, and what I did not show you guys online, is what I did to the inside of it. This inside is made out of 75% polyester, so I was able to sublimate the inside of this pouch. So what we're going to do is we're going to do sublimation on the inside and the outside. So let's get started. What we're going to start off with is going into our creative studio. If you guys don't mind, I'm going to be sharing my screen, and I will walk you through the creative studio process. And thanks everybody for tuning in. It looks like everybody's saying hi and where they're from. Again, if you have questions as we go, I do have someone moderating in the back, and I'll be able to answer them for you. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay. Right. So screen is shared. What we are in now is our Sawgrass Creative Studio. If you go to sawgrassink.com, you'll be able to access Creative Studio from there. So what I've done here is this Creative Studio, for those of you who don't know, maybe who are new to sublimation or are thinking about sublimation, it's filled with pre-measured out templates that you can use when creating. Because though this is a pouch, a rectangular pouch, what I've opted to do is just use this free space area in order to design. That's what we're going to use for the front. For the inside, which is where we're going to start off with, I'm going to our blank design canvases, and I want an 11 by 8.5 sheet of paper to work with. So I'm going to select the 11 by 8.5. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into our free Valentine's Day designs, and I'm going to pick out one of the background designs to use. So I'm going to go into I'm going to designs, and I'm going to click on Valentine's Day. And here we have some of our artwork. Again, these are some of our free Valentine's Day artwork. I'm going to select this design here. It's a really pretty background with some hearts, but I want these hearts to pop out just a little bit more. So select that layer. As you can see, this layer is mobile. And I'm going to go to fill color, and I'm going to turn them white. So now what I want to do is I want to stretch out this background to take up this entire 11 by 8.5 sheet of paper. There will be a slight margin because all of our printers do print with a margin. So what I'm going to do is click Select All, and I'm going to stretch this out. And I'm going to stretch it a bit at the top here as well. And I'm going to unselect all. So this is all it takes to make the inside of this pouch. So now what I'm going to do, again, this is using traditional sublimation. And we're going to be using true Pix paper for this. In this project, we have EasySubli Vinyl and we have true Pix paper. So this is traditional sublimation using traditional sublimation paper. So I'm going to press print. And as you can see, my printer is already queued up and ready to go. And then what I'm going to go through here and do is select my print settings. I'm going to use a regular US letter page paper because that's the size of the paper I have in the printer. I am going to choose polyester as my product because, like I said, the inside of this pouch is 75% polyester. That means that so when it comes to sublimation, it takes polymers for the ink to bind to the item. So 75% polyester pretty much means that 75% of the ink will stay on the product. The higher percentage of polyester that you have, the brighter and the more vibrant your designs and your creations will be. So polyester product, True Pix paper, and I'm going to choose Vivid for my color mode. This is because photographic is used for photographs. It's used to make sure that skin tones appear the way that you want them to. Vivid makes everything else just pop. It's more for graphics, and that's what we want here. So I'm going to click print. And what's going to happen is this is going to pull up a secondary screen. This is our Sawgrass Print Manager, or SPM for short. And the second screen that pulls up is going to give me even more options for when it comes to customizing the way that I want to print my item. So as you can see here, this 11 by 8.5 sheet of paper has been pulled up. I want to make sure this is mirrored. When it comes to traditional sublimation, you want your item to be mirrored because you're going to stick the design on top of the item and it's going to transfer with your heat. So I want this to be mirrored, but I want 2 of these because both sides of the inside of this pouch are going to be sublimated using this design. So I'm going to increase my copies to 2. That way it prints out 2 sheets of paper. I'm going to click print, and it'll take a few seconds. While the computer talks to the printer here and we're waiting for it, I'll talk about the heat press settings. So when you're pressing a polyester fabric, you want to press it generally at about 385 degrees. Shut this here so you can see it a little bit better. You want to press it about 385 degrees for 45 seconds. So that's what I'm going to be doing when this prints out to do the inside of this pouch. What's also important to note is that obviously when it comes to heat press, this heat press in particular, the heat's coming from the top, not the bottom. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be pressing one side at a time so I get a nice even press. And I'll just slow down for a second here while this prints. It can get a little bit loud, and I don't want it to overshadow any important information I'm going to give you. So just give me 1 second while I wait for this.
Hey, Megan.
Yes.
If you can, please. Oh, I was just going to ask you to stop screen sharing so we could see your front camera. You did great. Thank you.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Yep. Okay, so someone asked where the pouch is from. This pouch is from Michael's Arts and Crafts. Everything that we'll be working with today did come from Michael's. And while I wait for that to print out, I am going to take off this little decorative piece that came on the pouch because I don't want it to get squished. There you go. Let's quickly take it off. We can put it on later. I don't want it to get squished in the heat press. So here is one page for the inside of this pouch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unzip this and I'm going to turn this pouch inside out. So Deanna wants to know, is the pouch 100% polyester? It is not, I'll tell you. So on the outside here, this outside is cotton. This is 100% cotton, which is why when we do the outside of this pouch, we're going to be using EasySubli Vinyl. On the inside of this pouch, this is 75% polyester, which means that we will have the ink binding to the item. It will have a slightly vintage look. I don't want to say washed out. I call it vintage, a little retro look to it. But I would suggest if you're going to be working using traditional sublimation with polyester, it's always best to go 100% polyester items or 100% polyester coated items. I would never go any less than 50%, and 50% itself is pushing it. And Maddie has put a link to the pouch in the comments. This is I believe, an Imagine 8 pouch from Michaels. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly cut out the tag from the inside of here. There we go. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these. Just going to put it down here. Get everything turned inside out. And there's going to be a slight overlay of where the margin is, but that's for the sewn part of the pouch, which no one, like, you're not going to see that anyways, so we're okay with that. So I'm going to take heat transfer tape here. And it's important to use heat transfer tape because, like I said before, this is going in the heat press. Otherwise, regular tape will melt, and this is heat resistant. It's built to work with temperatures this high. So I'm going to secure my pouch to the paper. And I'm doing this because we don't want any ghosting. So what can happen sometimes with sublimation if you're not careful, and I'm going to just put this around here. What can happen sometimes with sublimation is that when you're working with an item, if you don't have it secured to your print, it can shift in the heat press or shift when you take it off the heat press, which can cause the ink particles to kind of start to release in a different direction. And that can cause you to get ghosting in your item. So we don't want to have that. We want to make sure everything looks good. So I've gone and I've taped down, and I'll just put it right here quickly. No, I've taped down this item. And now I'm going to go into the heat press. What you need to have is some blowout paper, parchment paper. And what I normally do is I lay out some on the bottom here. Then I put my item face up. So the paper side, the back of the paper facing up. Just gonna make sure that my zipper is okay here, because I don't want to squish my zipper. Yep. And then I'm going to put another piece of blow-up paper on top of it. This just keeps things from potentially getting messy. Make sure this traps everything in here. So I'm going to clamp this down. I'm actually going to put a little bit more pressure on here. Again, I'm pressing this at 385 degrees for 45 seconds. That's going to, and when it comes to sublimation, I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with sublimation, but every item's different depending on what it's made out of. Fabric and ceramic and tile, they're all different from one another. So I highly suggest that wherever you get your sublimation products from, you do some research on how long that item needs to be cooked for before you take it out of the heat press. Deanna wants to know what the pressure is. This is a medium pressure. That's what we're working with here. So it's about to go off. Safety first. Pull this off here. Down right there. So this is the one side. I'm gonna put it out there so you guys can see a few of the wrinkles cause it to be a little bit scattered, but all in all, looking really good, especially for the inside of a bag. So there's one side. Now I'm about to do the other. So I'm going to make sure that this is all face up. Again, I'm just going to stick this right here. Tape it all down. And I'll be using the same exact settings for the opposite side as well. And I know some people might be wondering, what's going to happen? The one side's already sublimated. Will the ink start to bleed out? No, I do this quite often, doing 2 different sides at different times, and I've never seen any issue with quality. So I think you are good to go. I'm just gonna tape down this other side as well. All right, so what I normally like to do is I do like to switch out my blowout paper. Even though I've used it only one time, there is a little bit of, ink particles that will get on there. I don't want them to resublimate and impact my work. So I'm just gonna discard these papers and pick 2 new ones. Someone wants to know if you can do this on shoes. I have never seen it done on shoes. It doesn't mean you can't. You'd have to have a shoe-shaped heat press, probably. If you find one, let me know. So someone wants to know, could I have used the same sheet of paper on both sides? Like the paper, the printout that I just used. Give me 1 second. Let me press this and I can answer this question. A little bit. Okay, so someone wants to know, this paper that I just used, could I have just flipped the pouch around and used it again? The answer is no. This paper gave out the amount of ink that it was supposed to based on the time, temperature, and pressure that I had assigned to it in the press. So no, you cannot reuse it. It's going to be very, very light, and you wouldn't get a nice, vibrant image. All right, we've got about 10 seconds left. And then what we're gonna do when I'm done with the inside, we're gonna flip it around and we're gonna start working with the EasySubli Vinyl. Just gonna grab my mitt. I'm just gonna put this over here, show you the inside there on the close-up cam. There you go. So a little bit of wrinkling caused a little bit of fading, but still really cool for the inside of a bag. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna now flip this inside out so you can see what it looks like. Is this washable? I don't know about the tote itself. I'm assuming it is, but when it comes to sublimation, yes, you can wash sublimated items and they won't, fade, peel, or crack. Sharon says, very nice, thank you. So JW wants to know, can you use an iron? And is the ink used, so the answer with the iron, I would say no, because you need to have a consistent pressure when working with this, and an iron would not give that to you. And is the printer just printer ink or something else? I missed the first 5 minutes. It's okay, JW. So yes, this is Sawgrass Sublimation. We make the printers and the inks for our products. So you can't just use any ink in this. This is a sublimation printer made with that has sublimation ink inside of it. So you need to have a specific type of ink when using this. And sublimation ink can't just go into a regular printer. There's a whole science behind it, the way the lines fill up. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but you need a sublimation printer. So this is the inside of our pouch. Pretty cool, right? Looks real good. It's fun. It gives it a little spunk to a normal pouch. So the inside is done. I'm going to move to the outside. But in order to do that, we do have to make one major change. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to close up I'm going to turn this over here. I need to switch out paper. So True Pix paper, which is a traditional sublimation paper, is inside the printer right now. Because I want to do sublimation on vinyl now, using for this outside cotton pouch, because again, traditional sublimation cannot bind to cotton. So we need to print onto vinyl and then put the vinyl on our cotton. So I need to switch out my paper, and I'm going to switch out my True Pix paper and I'm going to put in there EasySubli Vinyl. Someone said pretty. All right. So I'm just gonna, Alex, can I get around here? Or you wanna do it for me? Thank you. My stage hand, Alex here, is gonna help out. I'll just take this out of here. You might wanna push that back a little bit. There you go. Perfect, thank you. Now the important thing to note when it comes to EasySubli Vinyl, there is a vinyl side, and then there's this like shiny plastic side on the back. When you load it into your printer, that shiny plastic side goes face up. So just note that for those of you who are EasySubli printer owners. Okay, so I have my vinyl in there now. I'm using the same inks. That's the best part about this. EasySubli inks can be used on vinyl or traditional sublimation. So Maddie, what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to share my screen again, and I'm gonna go back into Creative Studio and show you guys how we made our monogram. So let's see here. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna start new. I'm actually going to exit out here completely and go back into our start creating screen. And I'm going to do my design on this 8x8 square because I pre-measured out beforehand what this pouch measurements are. And I know I want to have a heart that is slightly larger than 4 inches. So I'm going to go into elements. And I'm going to go all the way down to shapes. Again, elements are free. The background we just used was free. So we are using all free items that you have access to in Creative Studio. I'm going to pick one of these hearts. I'm just going to pick this one. Looks a lot different from the one we had. So what I can do here is take this heart. I'm going to go to fill color. And then I'm going to choose a red, and I want a slightly more vibrant red. I'm gonna go with this one. So here's my heart, and now you might be wondering, well, how do you know how large it is? I'm gonna come over here to my measurements tab, and I'm gonna look at inches. So it's slightly under 4. I'm gonna just tug at the sides here, make it a little bit bigger. That's about the size that I want it to be. And now I need to put my initials in it. And I know a lot of you are probably traditional vinyl users. When it comes to using vinyl, you do one shape and then you put another sheet of vinyl in and you have to start layering to do different colors and different items. Here, we don't have to do that. What I'm going to do is just include everything else in my actual design, and it's going to print in all the different shapes and colors that I need it to on one sheet of vinyl. So I'm going to go to text, I'm going to go to Creative Studio, and we have hundreds of free text, free fonts that you can use in Creative Studio, like pages and pages and pages. If you're a premium member, you also have the option to upload your own, but we're not going to get into that. What I want to do is go to Alex Brush, which I believe is on page 2 here. There we go. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write my own initials. So M, and I'm going to make this, just going to size this up a little bit. And then I can do one of two things. I could keep selecting Alex Brush and adding new letters, or I can click duplicate the M and just change the letter. And I like doing that because it duplicates the size, so I can get a better understanding of how big I need to make everything else in my design. So I'm just going to make this a little bit larger. And then I want my E to be about the same size as my M, so I'm going to duplicate again. And I'm going to make that into an E. So, and I think that's about the right size I'm working with here. I'm going to make these a little bit larger. So move this, max. Move this down a little bit. I'm going to make this a little bit larger too. This is heading off the screen. We don't want that. All right. So there we go. Those are my 3 letters. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select each one, and I'm just going to turn each of them white. That way they really pop out against this red. And it plays more on the color scheme of what we're doing with our pouch. So I have my EasySubli loaded in. I'm going to press print. And I'm changing my page size to A4 because technically EasySubli is A4. And then I'm going to go to heat transfer vinyl. And again, a vivid color setting. I'm going to press print. And just give that a second to print. Let that load. And once again, the extra SPM screen is going to pop up. And here is something that is very important to note when you are working with EasySubli Vinyl. You do not want it to be mirrored. You want it to be unmirrored because unlike traditional sublimation, we are not putting this onto an item face down. We are actually adhering this to the item face up. So we do not want this to be mirrored. So this is all ready to go. I'm going to press print. We let this guys have. JW has a great question. What is the longevity of the sublimation versus traditional vinyl? I can't speak to traditional vinyl because, you know, every vinyl is a little bit different and I don't want to speak to any of that. But what I can tell you is that once you sublimate something, that ink is trapped in those polymers and there's no getting it out. You can wash it, scratch it. Really, as long as you're not taking a chisel and hammer to it, it's not going to come off. You can wash a shirt again and again. As long as it's 100% polyester, it will bind 100% to your shirt. You will have slight fading if there is a lesser amount of polyester in the item, but all in all, sublimation holds up really well for years. The only other thing to add to that would be that with ones that go outside and caught that in UV rays, that could diminish it just a little bit, but not too much. Is EasySubli Ink exclusive to Sawgrass printers? That is correct, it is. Okay, so here's my printout. And be very careful. And I'm gonna put it over here so you can see it. It looks faded, right? It looks a little bit light. That is because that is how it comes out. When it comes to sublimation, to get those colors to really pop, you need that time, temperature, and pressure from under the heat press. So it's also really important to note, I'm going to take this away from here. It's also really important to note that this is technically wet. So what we need to do is we need to cure it. We need to dry it under here. Oh no, I forgot to do something. I need to decrease this to 311 degrees. Before I was telling you that I was pressing at 380. So the first item I press at 385 degrees. For the EasySubli, I need to press it at like 311 degrees. So I'm just gonna quickly turn my heat press down a little bit. It'll go down pretty quickly. But I am just for a second going to stick this under the heat press. And what it's going to do is it's going to start to dry that ink, because otherwise, if you run your hand over it right now, it'll start to smudge. You don't want that. So we're going to start to dry it. Obviously, with it being 385 degrees, we don't want it to dry too much and start to stick to the back. So I'm just going to keep an eye on it. If it was at 311, I could let it go a little bit longer. It's going to, yeah, it's just give it a second here. Let's see. Can you use Easy Press by Cricut for this? I'm not too familiar with Cricut's products, unfortunately. 45 seconds, okay. All right. A little bit hot. So yeah, so that was about 45 seconds. I let that sit underneath there. As you can see, the color is brought out a little bit. Alex, I'm gonna put this under here. so you can see the difference right there in the colors. So the color's been brought out a little bit. Obviously, when we go to actually press it and we add that, that time and that pressure along with the heat, it's going to come out even more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this sit for a second. It's also really important to note that you want this to be pressed for only 11 seconds, not very long. So I'm going to decrease that time as well right now while we're waiting. Okay, so that's going to cool down to 311 degrees. We'll press it for 11 seconds, but first we need to cut it. As of right now, how we do cutting using EasySubli Vinyl and Silhouette is by using our PixScan sheet. I'm just gonna quickly hold this up. Ours is a little bit dirty, sorry, but we're gonna use a PixScan sheet. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with PixScan, what you do is you adhere the vinyl to the sheet, and then I take a picture of it, email it to myself, and I upload it into Silhouette Studio. I know it sounds a little roundabout, but it works. So let's see. I think someone wants to know the name of our heat press. I'm not sure if I can give that out just because I don't want to show favoritism to any particular heat press dealer. So I'm going to allow other people to suggest heat presses that they like using. Okay, so I have this adhered to my PixScan sheet, as you can see. And so what this does is when this prints out from our Creative Studio, it doesn't come out with any registration lines. So technically right now the cutter wouldn't be able to read it, but these registration marks allow the cutter to read the sheet. And I'm probably talking to a bunch of vinyl people who are like, Megan, I already know this, but I'm gonna tell you anyways. Let's see. Okay, yep, so someone gave out the heat press name, so perfect. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to quickly swing this away so I have a flat surface to take a picture on. No, I am not pressing this. What I'm going to do is take a photo of this. There we go. I'm going to stick that here. I'm not just playing on my phone, I'm emailing it to myself. So I'm going to quickly email this to my computer. I'm going to take another one because it's a little bit crooked, just to be safe. There we go, much more straight. All right. So I'm going to email this to myself. Then when it gets to my computer, I'm going to save it to my desktop, and then I'm going to open up Silhouette Studio. And then from there, I'll show you how we can get it sent to the cutter. Okay, that has been sent. So I'll share my screen in just a second. Let me just open up my email and save this. Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm going to quickly save this to my desktop and I'll share my screen. And thank you all for bearing with me. All right. Okay, I'll minimize this, open up my Silhouette Studio. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to unplug my printer and I'm going to plug in my Cameo. And while my Silhouette Studio is loading, I'm going to load my PixScan sheet into my Cameo. There we go. Okay. Let's see. All right, looks like everyone's kind of talking about presses, which is great. I'm glad you are all helping each other out. That is super awesome. I'm going to share my screen here so you can see this. Okay, so let's Studio open. I'm going to go over here to Pix. This is our PixScan sheet. I'm going to import my picture from file, which is right here. I'm going to press continue and kind of let this image load. There you go. So now my PixScan sheet is loaded into my Silhouette. I'm going to plug my computer in quickly because it's dying really fast. There we go. Okay. So I'm now going to go over to this little trace panel. I'm going to click on select and trace. And I'm going to select the area just around my heart. And it filled in solid my heart, which is exactly what I wanted it to do. And I'm going to select trace and detach. And it's hard to tell because the heart is red, but there is a red line around my heart. So now we're good to go. It's detected my heart, it's traced it, and now I'm ready to send it over to my cutter. So you can hear there's the outline. And so now I'm going to click send. And it's reading it. There we go. And I'm going to let it do its work because it's a little bit loud. Oh, that sounds like a video game. All right, I'm going to come around here. I'm going to grab that from the cutter. Click unload. So now, Alex, which camera are we on here? The large one, okay. I'm going to hold it up here. So it's cut. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to take my hook here and I'm going to take it out. So I'll let you get the close-up view of this. Hopefully my head doesn't get in the way. I'm going to try to detach my vinyl from the backing here. Just give me 1 second. I have next to no nails. Once I get this detached, it's going to be so much easier to take off. Uh-oh. And I might have made a little bit of a mistake. Let's see here. Well, I'm going to take it off from here instead. And you know what? Like I said before, remember how I said that we needed to be heated at 311 degrees, not 385, but I was trying to rush because I wanted to move on. The problem is, here's the issue with heating it too high. It will adhere to the back of that vinyl. The vinyl will adhere to the back of that plastic. The good thing is, I have come prepared. And I have also cut out one that was properly temperature checked. So it should be completely fine and not at all stuck to the back. So note that, don't try to rush. If your heat press is still at 385 degrees, don't try to cure it. Wait till your heat press gets down to 311 and then move on. And that is my fault because I wanted to move on with the class. But the good thing is, thought of it ahead of time and made sure that I already had one ready to go. So sorry about that. All right. Good thing is, this is all good to go. Let me see here. There we go. Mary said, well, we learned something today. Exactly. You know what? I am great at making mistakes, but making an amazing learning opportunity out of them. So I don't even feel bad. Actually, I feel good about that. So here we go. We are detached. This is what our little heart looks like. Alex, you want me to put it under here? Want to see it from the better view? So there we go. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to close up this Cameo here. I'm going to just place this on top of here and press. That's it. I'll move it over. Oh, there we go. So I'm going to just press this on top of here. Like I said, 311 degrees for 11 seconds. Place this down here, make sure everything is centered the way I want it to be. Put blowout paper on top of it. Get down a little bit. Oh, that is a little bit too much pressure. We don't want that much pressure. So this needs to be pressed at a more light to medium pressure as opposed to the inside of the bag that was a medium pressure. All right, so 11 seconds goes by really fast. It's like about to beep. Told you. So I'm gonna pick this up here. It's under. And voila, here we go. Can I put it underneath this one? Perfect. I'm gonna put it right here so you guys can get a better look at it. This is our, there you go, our monogram pouch, and I'll open up the inside too so you can see the inside again. So monogrammed on the outside, bright and colorful on the inside. Looks just like a Louis Vuitton, right? So what we could do from here is reattach our little decorative piece. I'm just going to pull this over here. And a reminder that you can access this class again within the next 24 to 48 hours on Michael's YouTube channel. So if you want to watch this again or pass it along to a friend, please feel free to do that. People are saying it looks nice. Thank you very much. Please, if you have any questions, now is the time to ask. We are completed with our cute little Valentine's Day pouch product. Again, everything came from Michael's. Someone said, awesome project. Thank you. The vinyl does stick to cotton. Vinyl does stick to cotton. Traditional sublimation does not. So be aware of that when you're working with items. Another thing to know is we would love to see some of your designs. Please post some of your designs online, use hashtag Make It With Michaels, and please follow us on social media. I know some of you are probably new to sublimation or interested in sublimation. We are all about education here at Sawgrass. I do run the social media accounts. We are on Facebook, we are on Pinterest, we are on Instagram, we are on LinkedIn. So you can check us out in all those locations. We also we're on YouTube as well. We have tutorial videos there. We have a free Sawgrass Academy that is on our website. There you can learn all about sublimation in general, along with Sawgrass products. And I host weekly Facebook Lives at 3 o'clock Eastern time in the afternoon on Wednesdays. You can tune in to learn more sublimation fun stuff there. We also have a podcast. It is called Ink Differently. We talk to people who are sublimators, people who use sublimation as a business. And we talk to them all about their business models and how they're using sublimation. It's a really cool podcast. We've got some pretty awesome people I've been able to speak to. You can find that on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. That's called Ink Differently. A lot of avenues where you can find support. You can also message us on Facebook. I run the Facebook account. I'll be sure to answer any questions that you have. Let's see what else people are asking. Anything? All right. It looks like everyone's excited. Mandy is watching. Mandy from Sparkleberry. Hi, Mandy. Everyone's excited. So thank you for tuning in, Mandy. And thank you all for tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will be back next week as well. We will be back next Thursday, same time, same place. Actually, Alex, could you come in here? Can you grab me that shirt? I can actually show you the project we'll be making.
Hi everyone, it's Maddie with Michaels. It looks like Megan's internet cut out just as we were wrapping up. She was about to hold up the t-shirt. Oh, she's back. Let me turn it back over to Megan.
Thank you, Maddie, for taking over. This is the t-shirt we will be making next week for our Zoom call, same time, same place, next Thursday. Be sure to sign up. Like I said, the registration page might not be up yet, but it will be soon. So you can learn how to make this shirt. And we're super excited to do some more projects with Michaels. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Again, at Sawgrass Ink, Sawgrass INK. Anywhere on social media, you'll be able to find us. Podcast is Ink Differently. If you have any questions, I'll be able to answer them. But besides that, thank you all so much for tuning in.
All right, thank you, Megan, and thanks everyone. Have a good one.
Bye.